Pushy as a fly, that's what I'd call Vanessa clean. That morning, she didn't just walk through my gate. She brazenly broke my lock and let 100 people into my lakefront lodge like it was a public community hall, spreading plastic chairs, backdrop curtains, and banquet tables across my lawn. I just stood there, silent, watching the chaos on the land my ancestors had left me. Vanessa's head was high, eyes sparkling with triumph. She looked like she owned the place. But, as karma tends to show up when you least expect it, her joy didn't last long. Minutes later, the crowd froze, and that illusion of control she clung to slipped away. The sound that woke me at 6 a.m. wasn't my alarm. It was the screech of wire cutters biting through steel. I rolled out of bed in Pine Ridge Lodge, our three-generation Turner family retreat on Moonlight Lake, and peered out. Vanessa Clean, HOA chairwoman extraordinaire, was standing at my front gate, directing two burly men as they cut through the padlock I'd installed just last month. When it fell, she replaced it immediately with a high-end lock from her toolkit. This wasn't vandalism, it was a statement. Behind her, 100 people moved in with military-like precision, carrying folding tables, plastic chairs, and enough sound equipment to host a small festival. My private sanctuary, the one my grandfather had built after World War II and my father expanded into a retreat center, was transforming before my eyes into a community carnival. And there she was, holding a clipboard and a document on my gate proclaiming emergency community use authorization, complete with a faux official HOA seal. Neighbors even nodded in approval, while a few whispered, "He should share that property for the community, you know?" The audacity. Yeah, that happened. I threw on clothes and went downstairs, architect brain kicking in. This was textbook trespassing and fraud, though she'd made it look legit with forged documentation. Vanessa had spent 8 years as HOA chair and 15 as a real estate lawyer. She calculated every move. Out on my porch, the scene looked like organized chaos. Tables in perfect rows, sound system feedback checks, even a bounce house. This wasn't spontaneous. This was planned down to the last folding chair that I approached her. "Good morning, Turner," she said, not looking up. "Beautiful day for a community gathering, don't you think?" Pleasant tone, sharp challenge. "Mrs. Clean," I replied, calm but internally calculating. "This is private property. I need you and everyone to leave." She smiled, sharp as a blade, and pulled out a thick envelope. "All legal," she said. "Emergency HOA provisions. Your property should serve the community." Her eyes flickered with anticipation, waiting for me to react wrong. But the replaced lock screamed calculated permanence. Someone had invested real money to make this takeover look official. I tore open her envelope. It was stuffed with fake violations, stamped and sealed. Noise complaints, landscaping infractions, fiction crafted with precision. "You realize I'm a licensed architect, right?" I said, calm voice, steady hands. Vanessa adjusted her stance, authority radiating from her. "Turner, I have 15 years of litigation experience," she said, slicing into my confidence. I smiled thinly, snapped photos, and noted the missing official notifications. The HOA bylaw required 30 days' notice. Crack appeared in her facade. She talked of the greater good, but it was clear. This was power play, not community care. I remembered her previous, friendly acquisition proposal 2 months ago, offering $850,000 for our lodge valued near $2.8 million. I'd politely declined. Family legacy wasn't for sale. Her smirk then, as now, said, "We'll see, Turner." A familiar truck pulled up. Marcus Webb, construction law pro and longtime friend, strode toward me, scanning the scene. He took the documents and immediately spotted discrepancies, fraudulent HOA registration numbers. Nearby neighbors shifted uneasily. Vanessa's composure flickered. She knew he saw through it. I realized her planning had been meticulous, researching everyone in my circle. But the security cameras we installed were rolling, and I remembered my basement mice, 40 lab rodents for a university behavioral study. Harmless. But let's say they could create chaos. The crowd swelled. Families, kids running, volleyball near the shore, grills fired up. It looked normal, too normal for what was actually happening. I said calmly, Mrs. Clean, you're obstructing my private property based on falsified documents. That's criminal. She laughed, dismissive. You're obstructing legitimate community activities. I glanced at my phone. An unknown number texted, final evidence gathering opportunity. Document everything. No action. Agent SM. My architect mind pieced it together. This was bigger than HOA drama. I called Diana Foster, attorney. She confirmed multiple statutes were violated. Cameras rolling, evidence documented automatically. Meanwhile, social media exploded. Jessica Clark, early 20s, blonde, was live streaming. 50,000 viewers already, rapidly climbing. She narrated, homeowner didn't permit this. HOA claims emergency powers. Feels like hostile takeover. Her commentary, surprisingly sharp, captured my attention. Then she zoomed on a group near the shore, 15 clearly not families, passing small bags, methamphetamine. Chat exploded. Clips were saved. I texted Agent SM, active drug dealing. Young woman streaming. Reply. Perfect. Document. Backup plan at 12 o'clock. I glanced at my watch, 11:45. 15 minutes. Time to prepare my defensive strategy with the mice. Exactly at noon, I flipped the main breaker. Lights out, sound system dead, 40 lab mice released. Screams followed instantly. Guests scattered, some diving into Moonlight Lake, some scaling fences. Chairs and tables overturned. Jessica's live stream captured the chaos perfectly. Viewer count surged past 500,000. Vanessa tried to maintain control, shouting, gesturing. Then, perfectly timed, she stepped backward off a dock into the lake, splashing and sputtering, hair plastered, blazer soaked, dignity lost before hundreds of thousands online. The mice explored freely, some discovering abandoned picnic baskets, others the bounce house. Sirens cut through the chaos. Half the county, it seemed, converging. FBI, DEA, police, lights flashing. Vanessa's expression shifted from anger to genuine fear. Agents moved in. Ray Morrison, former colleague, led the operation. Ma'am, under arrest for conspiracy, property invasion, and facilitating drug activity. Agent Sarah Morgan announced. Miranda read. Handcuffs clicked. Point 18 arrested for meth distribution. 3 HOA board members implicated. 25 paid actors exposed. 57 genuine residents confused. Vanessa's legal defense crumbled. Her protests about entrapment ignored. Ray Morrison pulled me aside. Vanessa was fronting a sophisticated property acquisition scheme, laundering money, forging documents. Over $200,000 traced to HOA officials from Lakefront Development Corporation. My lodge, one of 15 targeted properties, had been central. Jessica's live stream peaked at 800,000 viewers, preserving every second. Comments evolved from entertainment to civic discourse. Viewers sharing their own HOA battles, praising what they saw as perfect grassroots resistance. As the last arrested were loaded, I stood surveying overturned tables, scattered supplies, and 40 free-roaming mice. Agent Morgan approached. Mr. Turner, we'll need your testimony in federal court. Your cameras and defensive actions are crucial. She added, your property sits on a valuable geological formation. Miss Clean knew, targeted for hidden worth, not just sentiment. 6 weeks later, I sat in federal court, watching Vanessa enter in an orange jumpsuit, a stark contrast to her former business attire. Judge Patricia Hayes presided, no-nonsense authority in the room packed with residents, federal investigators, and media. Jessica Clark, front row, notebook ready, now a legitimate journalist. The trial unfolded as a masterclass in property rights, fraud, and community manipulation. And as I recounted the chaos, the mice, the viral footage, and the federal arrests, I knew one thing for sure. This story didn't end here. Justice was in motion, and the Pine Ridge saga would be debated for years. Share your thoughts. What's justice when power, legacy, and chaos collide? Who's really right? And who's just another player in the HOA game?